Okay, here's the next PowerPoint on culture. This is where we left off. We were talking about culture shock. Now we move into some different concepts. Taboo. Taboo are behaviors in a given culture that are considered to be wholly unacceptable. Having sex with your parents, yuck, ew, right? Murder, generally speaking, is taboo. Eating human flesh is considered to be taboo. Making fun of your sociology professor, well, that's not really taboo, but you know, just kind of a joke there. But you get the idea. We've been talking about society. Society refers to people who interact with one another within a defined territory and share a culture. I've been using the term society a bit. Society is not necessarily the same thing as a country or a state. You can have different societies that exist within a defined geographical location. American society, Japanese society. Now, within any society exists subcultures, and we'll start with that. A subculture is not a bad thing. We're not talking about negative characteristics. All of you belong to multiple subcultures. A subculture is simply a cultural pattern that sets you apart from the rest of society's population. For example, you guys belong to the subculture high school students. You're high school students, so you belong to that subculture. By virtue of that, you share things in common. You get up early. You have to go to school. You have to take tests, all that good stuff. You're also college students. I bet a lot of you are athletes. If you're a football player, you belong to that subculture. You share things in common. You go to practice. You play. Hopefully you play, right? You dress. You have to get your uniform, your pads, your helmet, all that good stuff. Police officers, physicians, tattoo artists, reality TV stars, hair bands from the 80s. So some examples of subcultures. Subcultures aren't negative. We're not talking about bad groups or negative groups of people. I don't know if the emo subculture still exists. It was kind of around when I was in school, but that was a long time ago. And of course my favorite subculture, the nerd subculture. We've made a comeback in recent years. We're popular again, sort of, kind of. Hair bands from the 80s. Ask your parents about these bands. Grown men that would wear makeup and have big hair and dress like women. They had some things in common. Now, countercultures, on the other hand, these are negatively connotated. Countercultures are cultural patterns that strongly oppose those widely accepted within society. So, still, like subcultures, countercultures are set apart from the rest of society because they have some things in common. However, these features in common are negatively connotated. Satan worshippers, Hell's Angels, the Mafia, historically feminists. Before 1920, which was the year women got the right to vote in this country, most women before 1920 were not okay with other women campaigning for the right to vote for all women. The Klan, obviously, would be another example of a counterculture. So there are some images of countercultures that we've talked about. And we'll go ahead and call that the end of this PowerPoint. Short and sweet.